Hello, everybody, and welcome to Awesome Comics, your one-stop shop for everything comic book entertainment. I'm your host, Walter Bernasiak. How's it going, everybody? We filmed our first 2 episodes a few weeks ago. I hope you've enjoyed that, Batman vs. Superman and Marvel's Daredevil Season 2. Now we're going to move on to our favorite DC live-action movies. It's a hot topic now with Batman v Superman out there. Some people are thinking Batman v Superman is their favorite live-action DC movie, but spoiler, that's not any of our picks.
Sorry.
Okay, sorry about it.
Nope, not happening.
Before we do the introductions, I wanted to pose a couple questions to you guys, our audience. I want to know, we all want to know, what do you guys want to see covered on the show? We're still pretty young here. We're trying to see what works and what doesn't. So we want to hear from you guys out there. What do you want to see us cover? Is it more movie type news, TV news? Do you want to see us cover more comic book type news? We're going to be talking about comics today, but do you want to see more of the news type stuff with comic books? Let us know in the comments. I'm sure you will. And also, we're thinking about making episodes a little bit longer, so what would you be comfortable with watching? Are you okay with like half-hour episodes, 45-minute episodes, hour episodes? Let us know.
We could talk all day.
We can talk all day, seriously. It'd be actually a lot easier if the episodes were longer.
Just live stream it all day.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us know in the comments below. Okay, so I'm going to introduce our panel for today. We're going to go over here. I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, I am Beth Elderkin. I am co-host of Shark Jumping on Channel Awesome, and happy to be here on Awesome Comics. So everything's awesome, really.
All right, Aiyanna.
Hey, Aiyanna Wade here. I'm back from the last couple episodes. Happy to be back, telling you my favorite pick.
Same here, Brian Porter, and glad to be back and co-host on Awesome Comics.
Are you ready to talk about your favorite DC live-action movie?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be our own favorite DC live-action movie. I'm sure that there's a lot of you out there, oh, you left this off the list? Well, let us know in the comments. Let us know, because I'm sure that that's a good movie, too.
Because guess what? There's 4 of us and a lot more movies.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, we're going to get to our picks right now. So, Aiyanna, you're first. What is your movie? What's your favorite DC live-action movie?
Favorite live-action movie, Batman and Robin. Wait, no.
No, let's do it. Come on.
Wait,
No, you said it. We can't go back now.
No.
Yes,
Start on the ice puns.
Okay, my favorite is Dark Knight.
Okay.
I know I'm not alone in that because it is an amazing movie and just happens to be my favorite. Everything about it is good. Score is good. Action's good. Casting is good. Character development is good. I like it. It's good.
I just like it. It's great. A lot of people love The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
It's a lot of their favorite from the Nolan trilogy. And Heath Ledger's the Joker. What did you think of him?
I remember the backlash he was getting when it was first announced that he was cast in it, and I like Heath Ledger, so I wasn't on the hate train, but finally when we saw his performance and he just killed it.
Yep.
Killed it.
I found he was one of those actors that was always like undersold.
Yeah.
Like people could not get that he actually could turn in a really good performance. So when people were legitimately surprised, I mean, I was a Heath Ledger fan for a long
Right.
time. I'm like, told you so.
Yeah, and it's one of
was
those things that now I think everyone cites that as like, well, don't judge a book by its cover, because I know you might not like this casting choice, but you never know. Remember, you didn't like Heath Ledger as the Joker, and then you ended up loving him. He had to stand up against Jack Nicholson, and that's a tough person to beat out for that role.
Right.
Especially the laugh, the voice, everything was just so ingrained in us since we all, I think everyone in general loves Jack Nicholson in that.
His personality is not too far off from that Joker.
Exactly.
It'll be really interesting to see, like, in 10 to 20 years, who we consider to be the better Joker, because Heath Ledger's Joker was really of the time. We were really talking about anarchy and, you know, political revolutions and all that stuff. So he was really that voice, whereas Jack Nicholson had a different portrayal. So, you know, in 10, 20 years, I don't know who we're going to be liking more. I like Heath Ledger's performance more, but I may feel differently later on.
It's more like he talks about it in the film. He talks about being like a dog on a chain. He wouldn't know what he would do if he was let loose. And the Heath Ledger was able to just let it loose and let it go, to the point where now we have people trying to jump the shark a little bit with their Joker performances and bring dead rats in and stuff.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Just
you wouldn't have to be talking about
you
Jared Leto.
gotta overdo it now.
I gotta say, I find it really interesting that we're talking about a Batman movie, yet we're barely talking about Batman.
Well, that's the thing. He was so overshadowed in this movie.
Yeah.
Because he kind of takes a back seat to the Joker, performance-wise and everything. Even Christian Bale has come out recently and said, like, you know, what I was doing was not as interesting interesting as what Heath was doing in The Dark Knight, and he was kind of overshadowed by that. But I think in Batman Begins, he was driving the story, he was the centerpiece, everything like that. He's more of just a big piece of the puzzle in The Dark Knight. He's not really the focus. And I think it's kind of unfortunate because Batman Begins set up everything so well for the Nolan universe. We never hear anything about the frickin' Narrows again. Like, all that stuff was set up so well, and I was looking forward to the sequel. And obviously Dark Knight delivered, but not in the way that I thought it was going to.
That's true. No, you're right.
Yeah, another thing about Bale that I think was lacking, all three films, for me, he never really seemed like the detective. He never had that mentality.
Begins he did, but
a little, a tiny bit. Like,
but nowhere. Photos at a guy. It was fantastic. Come on.
Oh, okay, yeah, here we go. But he didn't have that detective mind, that near genius level intellect of just how he looks at everything, and he's so out of the box in the comics with how he looks at everything and how he figured stuff out.
And they really show that in the video games too.
Yeah,
like the way that he investigates the scenes, you kind of get a glimpse into.
And
how
like
his mind
we
works.
saw a little bit of him, like carving out the brick with the bullet in it, and then extrapolating that. Like that was cool. But like for the most part, he just seemed like he wasn't that smart, and his fighting style was way more. It was brawler.
Honestly,
it was slow brawling, and he was just a brawling boxer, and there was none of that finesse for me. But other than that, I really liked the movie. All of them.
One of the nice things too is they kind of give you a taste of Two-Face without being like, here's a lot of CGI, guys. They give you a little bit, and they don't overdo it, which I kind of like. So yes, he kind of takes a little bit more of a backseat as a villain, but they don't like shove it in your face like, oh, we got this really cool effect, we want to show it off. They do, and they like keep it simple.
Well, we're going to go on to your pick for the best live-action DC movie, and it's another Batman movie. Which one is it?
Controversy.
Batman 89.
Batman 89.
One of the best Batman stories ever, or movies anyway. It has one of the best Batman. Actually, I like Michael Keaton better as Bruce Wayne than Batman. I think he was a really good. Yeah, I can't move my neck. Can't move my neck. Keaton's Bruce Wayne captured the fact that Batman does not know how to be Bruce Wayne as the people sees him. That's his mask. He is Batman, and Bruce Wayne is his alter ego. Yeah. And I think that he really captured that because he was a little awkward in it. He just never felt natural in like being Bruce Wayne, and then when he puts on the Batman suit, obviously he's natural, he's who he wants to be and all that stuff. And so I think he really captured Bruce Wayne in that respect. So he's definitely my favorite Bruce Wayne of all time. And I love him as Batman. He's not the best, but he is definitely up there. I love the suit. I think the way it looks on him, it looks great, even though he's very rigid, and you can tell I'm in a rubber suit. And but I think it was fantastic, and just Tim Burton directing it is just phenomenal. He captures Gotham better than anybody else I've ever seen.
Totally agree.
I mean, even though in the Dark Knight series we see a lot of Gotham, and we see a lot of the Narrows and this and that, various aspects of Gotham as a whole, he just doesn't quite capture the dark grittiness that is Gotham.
It's so
and I think in
gothic.
Batman, in Batman it's so gothic, and it's just so. It really fits the universe, and Burton's style is totally mirrored in the comics, I think, and then definitely on screen. And I think he captured it so well. And then you take Danny Elfman, a Tim Burton like staple for his movies, and then you have him do that score. When you blend those, Burton and Elfman together, they already have a rapport with each other on how the music, with the set design and whatnot. I think it's just perfect for Batman. I think it's probably one of the best scores of Batman, even though Hans Zimmer was amazing in Dark Knight. But and then Jack Nicholson obviously is the Joker.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Do you like him better than Heath Ledger?
See, I don't.
Answer the question, Porter. Yes or no? Do you like Jack Nicholson's Joker better than Heath Ledger's Joker?
Yes and no.
That is not a simple
an
answer.
They're two very different Jokers. You've got the Clown Prince of
Which
Crime.
one do you like better?
I can't because I've
That's
read.
such a cop-out answer.
No, it's not
Which
a cop-out.
one do you like better?
I don't like.
Tell me which one you like better.
Which one do you like better? You must have friends. Where the trigger?
No, Jack Nicholson is very much the Clown Prince of Crime. He's got the gangster aspect to it, and he's very classic
and it very
Joker.
Fits the
it fits.
Very
Absolutely.
comic book, like that's like who I imagine as the Joker when I see the Joker in the comic.
And
like
we've
overly ridiculous. When I do.
Some comics.
And that's up to 89. That's pretty much what we had seen so far, and I think he really fits that Joker. But then Heath Ledger's Joker, I mean, that guy is all about the anarchy. He's the psycho killer.
Yeah.
And I think you've got the gangster and then the anarchist. And I think they're such different types of Jokers. You can't put them against each other and just who's better, who did it better. The fact that Batman 89 and Batman Returns paved the way for Batman the Animated Adventures and how that movie was, or that TV show was even brought about, like how dark Batman 89 was and Batman Returns. Batman, the Adventures of Batman was drawn on black paper.
With brighter colors,
the animated series. Like they drew it on black paper, and that totally preserves how dark the series is going to be. And then Gotham in the Batman TV series was so reminiscent of Batman 89.
Yeah,
so from the movie, we got this amazing staple of anybody in our generation's Batman. Like you think of Batman in TV series, it's the Adventures of Batman, like Batman the Animated Series. That's what it is. You think of Batman's voice, you don't think Bale, you don't think Batfleck, you don't think Keaton.
I think of it.
You think
I think of it.
I think it's
Kevin
recognizable.
Conroy. You think Kevin Conroy when you think of the voice of Batman.
When I read Batman comic, I hear Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, and anytime I hear Joker or read Joker in the comics, it's Mark Hamill. So thank you, Batman 89, for giving us Batman the Animated Adventures, because it's the pinnacle of Batman.
I'm talking about Superman the movie. That's right.
Applause all around.
It says Superman in the music.
Superman. That's what Hans Zimmer missed out on with the Man of Steel score. You're supposed to have Superman. You're supposed to be able to sing it.
Come on.
Anyway, let me talk about this 1978 Christopher Reeve movie, directed by Richard Donner. In my opinion, the best DC live-action movie. Because one of the main reasons is it started everything. This is the movie that really kick-started the superhero genre back in 1978, and everything about it is epic. Everything. It's very much, and they say this in audio commentary, they always talk about it in documentaries, it's very much a 3-act play, because the first act is on Krypton. The sets and the miniature work and everything on Krypton is incredible. Like the crystal look of Krypton and the Fortress of Solitude is still used in the Superman comics, in any iteration of Superman. Most of the time, it's that crystallized look, and that was created in this movie. It's so iconic.
And the practical effects just stand the test of time.
Absolutely.
That's what's great about that.
I mean, the blue screen flying effects, I mean,
you're in 78. I mean,
78.
That's great.
But still, all the effects and everything look great still. All the miniatures look great. All the sets look incredible. And so much work went into just the design of everything. It's so beautiful in Smallville. All the shots you get of wide open plains and everything. I mean, the look of the Daily Planet, all that is just freaking great. They shot this at the same time they were shooting Superman 2, and they rushed to finish 1 because of budgetary concerns. And they fired Richard Donner from Superman 2, which was the biggest mistake in the Superman franchise ever, I think. They brought on Richard Lester to finish Superman 2 after the original was let out, and it was even more over the top, comic booky, funny, campy. And Superman is campy, it is, but not nearly as much as 3 and 4 and how they went off the rails with that later. They did come out with Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut later, which I own, and is a superior look at Superman 2 with different versions of scenes and stuff that Richard Donner shot. They actually went back and reshot a bunch of scenes that Richard Donner originally did with Richard Lester. And all those original scenes are preserved and they're in the movie. Even sometimes they have to use screen tests because they didn't get to film all of it. But it's Richard Donner's version of Superman is the most iconic version. Christopher Reeve Superman, you can't tell me that you can't still think of Christopher Reeve when you think Superman.
I can't say that
he's
because I do.
Yeah, he's just the iconic hero. Yeah.
He is, absolutely. And
he's the Boy Scout.
Absolutely.
He has everything that Henry Cavill lacks.
It's not
Christopher
even Henry
Reeve
Cavill.
has.
It's more the direction and the direction of the story and the writing and everything.
Yeah, he's being made dark and serious. And you know what? If people like that, that's fine. But for me, I'm not admittedly not the biggest Superman fan.
Sure.
But if I were to pick a Superman that I like, it's the one who just fully embraces that he is just the big iconic hero from space who's going to come save us all, who will save a cat from a tree.
Right. I mean, he's the hopeful Superman.
That's the action in the movie, is saving a cat.
Yeah.
He does actually save a cat, and it's fine. It's fine.
I'm just saying.
He's a hopeful Superman. He's the correct way to portray the character, in my opinion. He's not a mopey, weird guy. A hopeful person, mopey Jesus. He inspires us to reach our own potential as human beings. That's what Superman's supposed to do. The real Superman is a little cheesy. Okay, that's fine. Superman can be a little cheesy. And there is a way to modernly portray this character, I think, that isn't the Snyder gloom and doom interpretation. With some contemporary alterations, Reeves' Superman could still work today if done the right way. If the core of that character, the goodness and the inspiration of that character is still at the center, he could still work with, like, you know, making more things contemporary and stuff, putting in modern times. It could still work if you just give it a chance. I want you to hope. There's things that happen around the world all the time that's bad. We know this. But it's okay to have a little bit of escapism, and it's okay to put a smile on your face just once in a while.
Every single time you walk out of a superhero or a Superman movie theater, or you watch it at home, when those credits roll, you need to be smiling.
Yes.
You need to be happy about what you just saw with Superman, and there is none of that in the new movies.
I agree.
You can have depth and still have hope and
I agree,
like
yes.
lightness.
I think that kind of describes my movie.
All right, well, we're going to get to that right now. Superman's my favorite, The Dark Knight, Batman 89. Beth?
And I'm going with V for Vendetta from 2006. So V for Vendetta is based on an Alan Moore comic from the 1980s, and it's all about a dystopian future in Britain where it's, in the comic books, it's fascism, and in the movie, it's basically neoconservatism. And we have this character in a mask, the Guy Fawkes mask, which is back here, who is basically causing chaos. He's causing anarchy because in the comic, he wants anarchy. He wants absolute chaos everywhere. But in the movie, he's trying to give hope. He's trying to tell people that the government doesn't control you, you control the government. And that's the message I really love, is that it actually, while Alan Moore's version worked really well for Margaret Thatcher politics in the 1980s, especially in Britain, and the last, Reagan reflected in the US, this one works really well for where we're at right now. Like even now, like I watched it 2016, it still rings really true for the experiences that we're having. And it's deep and it leaves you feeling good, which is surprising considering it is very violent.
It is very
There's
violent.
a lot of unpleasantness.
Yeah, there's torture.
There's torture that goes on for about 30 minutes.
Good guy, though.
Yes,
I always thought that was kinda weird.
the torture.
he does the
Right.
torture. He has his reasons.
Okay.
But
Torture.
that's one of the things that works better in the comic book because he is just trying to bring anarchy. So of course he would torture his protagonist because he wants her to be an anarchist. But in the movie, it's a little bit more vague, but it still has the same ends. It still gives her hope. She sees what it's like at the bottom so that when she's out, she can be free.
Oh, we should mention, I know everyone's going to be like, it's Vertigo. Yeah, it's Vertigo, but it's under the DC banner, so calm down.
Someone was in the middle of typing.
I know.
Hold on just 1 second now. If you're going into it for a fun action film, you are not going to get that at all. But if you're going into it trying to take a quote-unquote supernatural or superhero glimpse at the ugly side of the world that we live in right now, I feel like the Wachowski sisters did a great job at that.
No, I'm not going to touch on that one. But I don't know. It didn't leave me with anything. And I remember wanting to see it because the trailers looked good. It looked like a cool movie. It's got an interesting concept. The Guy Fawkes, he looks great.
Inspired Anonymous,
yeah.
apparently.
Hugo Weaving, although I do remember that I liked Hugo Weaving as that guy. What was his name?
That guy?
What was his
V.
name? His name was V.
Man.
Yeah.
See, I don't even remember.
You gotta at least
I don't
get a
even
little
re-
familiar
It's literally
with the
V for
That's-
Vendetta.
Oh,
like
okay.
his
He
name
has,
is in the
he has a
title.
monologue from the comics that's
No.
just a bunch of V words.
I'm going to have to.
I don't know. It just
Not all of them.
That
though.
was crazy.
Yeah.
They
That's
showed
very
that-
my vivacious.
That's from the
victorious
It worked.
thing.
That
was
did
crazy.
not work in the movie. That was
was
like his
nuts.
big introduction, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, this sounds really silly on film.
But I props to Hugo Weaving for memorizing that and
Yeah,
like,
he was
saying
actually
it
a
like that.
last-minute substitute. They originally
who-
had another actor. I forget who it was, but he was a couple weeks in, and the mask was too hard for him. He felt he couldn't emote. So Hugo Weaving actually stepped in
didn't know
and
that.
took the role over. And
I got this.
what's up?
He was like, I got this.
Oh, okay. And I thought Natalie Portman did a great job too. And I will say that her character was given a lot more agency in the film than in the comic. In the comic, she's a 16-year-old who's prostituting herself or failing to prostitute herself. So I'm like, okay,
They did that
let's
a
make her
little
an
in the
adult.
film.
Let's give her a little bit more to do. She works
Sure.
at a TV station. I'm good.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, that's definitely an unconventional choice in terms of like what we've picked, but it's good to have variety. So V for Vendetta. All right. Well, right now what we're going to do, you know our favorite picks for DC movies, and we wanted to get at least one more person, so our friend Heather Roos went to Graham Cracker Comics in Wheaton, Illinois to get a couple thoughts from a few people over there at an actual comic book shop. So take it away, Heather.
Hey guys, it's Heather. We're here at Graham Cracker Comics in Wheaton, and we're going to go see what people's favorite DC movie is and see if they like where the DC universe is headed. So let's go. It's a middle-aged Batman who has let himself go. He's part of the Lil Gotham series for all the kids who would like to know what Batman looks like at 60 after he stops working out. I'm feeling very drawn to this book right now. Maybe I shouldn't touch that. I'm here with Rick. How you doing today, Rick?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for asking. We have a very important question for you. What is your favorite live-action DC movie?
As of right now, it's Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. It's honestly the best live-action Batman I've seen ever, and I loved Man of Steel, so Henry Cavill is fantastic, and yeah, I loved it. I'm also one of the few people who love Jesse Eisenberg. He's totally playing Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, but as an evil guy. I could care less about Justice League as long as I could see that Wonder Woman movie.
So then how do you feel about where the DC universe is going cinematically?
I like parts of it. My biggest problem is that Suicide Squad looks horrifically bad to me. It's like they're trying to make Guardians of the Galaxy, but they forgot, like, oh, this is a superhero movie. We'll just put 5 guys in leather costumes like the X-Men movie. I don't like Cyborg, so the fact that the Terminator guy makes Cyborg was okay, and I don't know why they miscast Flash so horribly. I really want DC movies to succeed.
Thank you very much for talking with me today, Rick. Personally, my favorite DC movie is The Dark Knight. I don't think anything could ever beat Heath Ledger's Joker, but you guys may have made the wrong choice. We'll see. This has been Heather Roos at Graham Cracker Comics in Wheaton. Back to you guys in the studio. Wolverine should be a female.
Okay, thanks a lot, Heather. Right now, we wanted to introduce a little bit of a new segment on the show. We're going to do a little bit of a news breakdown. We're going to try to keep this short and quick. The first news piece on the agenda here, The Killing Joke, is coming out with an animated movie, and I am so pumped for that! No idea. The trailer came out, the little teaser, and they had a 10-minute behind-the-scenes little featurette for it. Aiyanna, what'd you think of it?
I'm super excited for it. I'm excited to see more Barbara Gordon. I know that comes as such a surprise.
Right.
And then Mark Hamill as
Mark
Joker.
and Kevin Conroy's back.
Yeah.
I know.
And
It's
Bruce
gonna be
Timm is
amazing.
behind it.
The featurette was amazing. I loved the featurette and just all the background into how they did the film and how they had to, translate it from the comic to the screen and how that was incredibly difficult. And it was hard to really capture Brian Boland's real essence in the comic and how they kind of had to tweak it a little bit. I know it's not quite 100% of the comic, but you can't always
It
do
looks
that.
good. I mean,
you can't get lucky like you are with Frank Miller in The Dark Knight
You can't
Returns.
over
I am
detail it in
curious
animation.
how they're going to handle that controversial part.
They showed little scenes in the featurette.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I can't
Okay.
wait to see it. It's going to be
Moving on
amazing.
really quick to the next news story. I just got to keep moving here. I believe this has been confirmed from Warner Brothers that Suicide Squad is going into reshoots to make it funnier. To yuck it up at a bunch of criminals.
Sure.
Yeah, see?
Great.
I mean, what isn't funny about dead rats in studio
Oh, right?
dressing rooms, you
Right?
guys? Come on, it's
Exactly.
hilarious.
Thank you,
It's-
Jared
It's
Leto.
amazing how much power, though, a trailer can have.
Exactly.
And all of us watching it can make it go back into reshoots. That's
But I also
kind
think
of
Batman
crazy.
vs. Superman weighed heavily on that decision as far as the fact
Yeah.
that there was no humor.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it
And-
was hilarious.
That was a great
Well,
look.
apparently, inside sources were saying that they used all the jokes in the trailer. Every single
That is a
joke from
problem with
Suicide
Hollywood
Squad
right now, but
in
that's
the
something for a
trailer.
different day.
Right.
Stop using
Well,
all your
this-
material in the
This
in the
leads
trailer.
right into the next thing. So there were rumors about this. I'm not sure if it's true, and they did kind of go back on this a little bit. There's rumors that DC may be scaling back plans on more DC Universe movies because of the massive drop-off at the box office for Batman vs. Superman. But, I mean, they did just announce 2 new movies for the DC slate. They didn't announce what those were. They just gave them release dates. And
Maybe
they moved
Batman?
Up, maybe, I hope so. And they moved up Wonder Woman. They moved up Wonder Woman 3 weeks.
I mean, I'm curious why they moved it up 3 weeks. Is that weekend in
It was
June
some
more
kind of strategy,
known or
I'm sure.
something?
Maybe.
I was like, okay, 3 weeks.
We got to move on to the final news story. This is the Walking Dead finale was last Sunday. Porter's the only person who watches The Walking Dead here. I'm sorry. I
Read it.
apologize. I don't watch
watch
Walking
it.
Dead right now.
Sorry.
Okay, the episode itself was great. Negan's entrance was awesome. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is a fantastic actor, and he delivered so well with Negan. But the frickin' cutaway, the last scene, you see Negan beating the shit out of someone in the head with the bat.
Spoilers.
Lucille, my bad.
I didn't get that memo.
But they cut away. It's from the perspective of whoever's getting beat, and you don't see who it is. So we've got 6 months to wait.
Wow.
We're not going to find out until frickin' October, and that
Yeah.
is awful. That was a terrible choice, and I know a lot of fans are super pissed off
Sure.
about that, myself included.
You're gonna go
Okay.
back and watch it though,
We
aren't
gotta,
you?
we
Not
gotta,
again. Oh, I'm going to watch this next season,
Exactly.
but
We got to wrap it up. I'm sorry. I
Oh.
know but you want these episodes longer? Let us know. We'll make them longer.
Yeah, tell
okay?
us, please.
I want to go really quick in the picks of the week. They tie into our individual choices as for our favorite DC live-action movies. Beth, I know that you did a little bit different from our
Yeah.
paper. You got a little like
I
electronics
go
going on.
digital, you guys. And no, I'm sure some people are going to be like, what? I read on my computer because I have my computer everywhere and I have a small apartment, so I can't have the plethora of comics in my tiny home.
Dedication.
So I am going to recommend the original V for Vendetta comic book. The reason being is that the focus in it is much different than the movie. It focuses on fascism versus anarchy instead of neoconservatism versus liberalism, and you get different parallels between them. The representation of women is a little bit more questionable in the comic books, so you just have to kind of take that with a grain of salt. But there is a lot more ambiguity. There's not as clear a good guy as there is in the film, and that's something good to think about.
Sure.
It was a good read.
All right. Tying into the Dark Knight, what'd you pick, Aiyanna?
Batman: The Long Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
We've got the Two-Face origin story. We've got some Joker in here. We've got some good, like the main trio of Gordon Dent and Batman, which is great.
And giant ears.
Oh yeah, his ears are like a
big-
foot long.
I'm okay with
Tim
it.
Sale ears. That's fine.
We'll talk. There's some good stuff in here. It's like that crime drama feel that you like. It's very Godfathery. You got a lot of mob stuff. Give it a look. If you like Dark Knight, I think this is your best source material.
Right. Porter, I brought some stuff for you. You brought some stuff. This is for Batman '89. What is your picks?
Batman, Mad Love. It's based heavily on, completely like ripped out of the series, Batman the animated.
Well, this came first, yeah.
The animated series, and I think this I know this is for the show, but you can read this and think of Batman '89 the movie, or vice versa. You can totally have a feeling for either movie or TV show from this book, and I think that translates really well and really showcases how awesome Batman '89 was. It could translate into a children's TV show and a comic book and still not lose anything. I think it was great. It's a great read too. Mad Love. It's Harley Quinn's origin and whatnot, and it is awesome. It's a great read.
Yes, it is. In terms for me, Superman, I picked a couple. The John Byrne first couple issues for the Man of Steel after the relaunch of the Crisis on Infinite Earths. This is from 1986. John Byrne sort of retooled Superman's origin story, and it's a really good read. Also, I picked up, I had these for a while, but I decided to show you guys, Superman Secret Origin by Jeff Johns. From a few years ago. These are really fun stories. Not Jeff Johns' best work. I mean, it's not Blackest Night, but it's really cool. It's got a different take on Superman's origin story. And they drew him, Gary Frank drew him to look just like Christopher Reeve. So that's pretty cool, and it ties into my movie, I think, pretty well. Okay, so go ahead and check out all these books. They're all fun. Read them. I mean, hers is kind of dark, but it's okay. It's fun. It's still fun.
Read hers and then read ours.
Yeah,
Lighten it up a
really
little.
don't end on this one, you guys.
This one's got a serial killer, so it's not that
But
light.
it's Batman, guys. It's Batman. It's fine. Okay, where can we find you, Aiyanna?
You can find me on Twitter and Facebook, and they will be listed right here.
Porter, where can we find you?
Facebook as well. It's under Awesome Porter, Facebook.com/Awesome Porter. It's got all my, opinions on like comic book stuff. Basically everything related to the show. So.
Okay, Beth.
All right, you can find Shark Jumping on YouTube. It's youtube.com/sharkjumpingshow. And of course, I am on Twitter at Beth Elderkin. And you can also find me on Instagram at Beth Elderkin, where I've been posting photos of these awesome people. So it's a win-win.
Yes, it is. You can find me at awesome_Walter on Twitter. And I basically just post about whatever I want. So if you like it, you like it. That's fantastic. All right, everybody, for everyone here, next week we're going to be talking about our favorite Marvel movies, not just Marvel Cinematic Universe, any kind of Marvel movies. So make sure you come back for that. And until next week, I'm Walter Banasiak, and we will see you on the next page.